Hey students, welcome to another Mr. Ness screencast. Today's aim is History of English, and here are your objectives. Please pause the video, look these questions over, and get ready to copy some vocab and take some notes. In this video, you are going to look at the development of one single language, English, over time. The roots of English began in a very small part of the world, but English has since grown to be the primary native language in countries all over the globe, and it is currently the most widely spoken language on earth. How did that happen? The hearth of the English language is an area of northwestern Europe that includes the modern-day countries of Germany and Denmark. At the time of the Roman Empire, around 1 CE, this area was inhabited by different groups of people that shared a Germanic culture and spoke Germanic languages. In the 5th century CE, after the fall of the Roman Empire, 3 groups of people from this region, the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes, sailed across the North Sea and invaded the British Isles. So there was a large migration of people out of what is today Denmark and Germany and into what is today England. Take a look at this map. This arrow shows the hearth in northern Germany and Denmark, and these blue arrows represent the migration of 3 tribes, the Saxons, the Angles, and the Jutes, out of that region, across the North Sea, and into England. The people who already lived in England at that time spoke Celtic languages, but the invading Germans pushed those people west and north into what is now Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. Over time, the invaders' culture merged into what is called Anglo-Saxon culture. Its members called their land Anglaland and their language Anglisk, and from those words came England and English. The earliest form of English is called Old English. Old English does not sound or look like English today, and you would have great difficulty understanding it. Even so, about half of the most commonly used words in modern English have Old English roots. The words what, over, under, and water, for example, all derive from Old English. Old English was spoken until around 1100. The next major event in the history of English occurred in 1066, and that was the year that William the Conqueror, the ruler of a part of modern France called Normandy, invaded and conquered England. The new conquerors, who were called the Normans, brought with them an early form of French, and that language became the language of the royal court and of the ruling and business classes. But English remained the most widely spoken language. At the same time, many French words joined the English vocabulary. This language is called Middle English, and it was spoken until about 1450. Around 1450, 2 more big events occurred. One was the invention of the printing press, which allowed English to be standardized through the use of dictionaries. As more people learned to read, they learned the same vocabulary, spelling, and grammar. At the same time, England was beginning to explore and colonize distant parts of the world, and new words and phrases from these lands were added. The language that developed at this time is called Early Modern English, and it is the first form of English that modern speakers like you and me can easily understand. Take a look at this passage, written in the 1500s, which is about the European conquest of Mexico. It says, "The drink called ordinarily chocolata is by the Indians called chocolate." So, it sounds a little bit old-fashioned, but it's easy to read. And you can also recognize a word that was new at this time, chocolate. Early modern English is also the language that Shakespeare used. It lasted until about 1800. All right, the last form of English is called Late Modern English, and it is what is spoken today. Late modern English developed after 1800 as imperialism spread English around the world, and the English language adopted foreign words from many countries. At the same time, colonized people began to learn English as well, which led to the development of new English dialects. After decolonization in the 1950s, many former British colonies continued to use English as an official language, and today there are many dialects of English, including American English, South African English, Indian English, and many others. Take a look at this map and notice some of the many countries around the world where English is a widely spoken native language. Each of these countries has its own unique dialect. The most influential dialect is the one that you speak, called American English. English has also become a lingua franca, a language used for communication by people whose native languages are different from one another. Lingua francas vary by region depending on which country or empire has power and influence in that region. Globally, English is today's lingua franca. For example, when leaders from around the world meet for diplomatic talks, they usually speak to each other in English. So this means that in addition to being a native language in many, many countries, English is also a preferred language of communication between people who do not speak the same language. In class, you'll learn about some reasons why English has attained this special status. Now let's look at some lingua francas in a few other regions. In West Africa, French is spoken by millions of people because this region was colonized by France, and people who don't speak the same language often use French to communicate in that area. And in East Africa, the lingua franca is Swahili. Swahili is a language that combines Bantu languages native to East Africa and Arabic, which was brought to the region by traders from Arabia. Finally, the lingua franca of the former Soviet Union is Russian. This includes Eastern Europe and much of Central Asia. Now it's time to review the objectives. If you don't know the answer to any of them, just rewind the video and look again. I will see you in class. Bye, students.